Hey, what's up guys? Chris Trini here for Chris Corp Productions. Today, we are breaking down the psychology behind individual colors. Color can be a means of expression, but it all started as a factor of survival.
Flowers use color that humans can't even perceive to attract certain insects for pollination. And some insects even use color to warn a potential predator of defensive toxins.
So if color plays such a vital role in some of the smaller organisms in life, imagine how it affects us humans. We respond to color neurologically, biochemically, and psychologically. And although there's still a lot of mystery and complexity surrounding color, we can use what we do know to tell better and more powerful visual stories.
Now, before jumping into the meaning of colors, I really want to thank Skillshare for making this video possible. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with more than 15,000 classes in design, photo, filmmaking, and more. Everyone can take a class, try a project, and even teach a class themselves. Premium membership begins only at around $10 a month for unlimited access to learning.
So let's jump right in and let's start with the most striking color of them all. The red within our bodies gives us life, but if it escapes us, it can also mean death.
Red has this duality to its various meanings, and it's almost always connected to an extreme emotion. This is probably because red is internalized in humans by radiant energy of specific wavelengths, and this increases muscle tone, our breathing, and even our blood pressure.
So that still sounds crazy to me, but that is a prime example of how we can use color to our advantage. And maybe splashing a little red in your scene might not be enough on its own, but if you combine it with a powerful line of dialogue, with a certain action or a certain environment, it could tremendously add to your story. So just as any other color, your audience cultural background will definitely affect how they internalize that color, but here are some of the common things that are associated with red.
Passion, danger, anger, excitement, vengeance, war, and I can go on.
So of course there are a ton of other meanings, but you don't even have to be limited by those meanings. You can make up your own.
For example, danger and an omen for death in The Godfather was orange, and actually like an actual orange. So it could be that color rather than red, and this was even used in Children of Men. So you can see how meanings are not fixated to particular colors. So aside from specific meanings, color, and in particular red, can be used to draw attention to a specific part of your scene or composition. This is called adding graphic weight, and this can be used very extensively and very effectively in certain compositions to really fine-tune and draw in your audience's eyes to a certain portion or element in your shot.
So, orange. Now to start off, I want to quote one of my favorite non-fiction books, The Book of Symbols.
Orange extends into the realm of gold, the uncorruptible and everlasting, and into the realm of blood, vigorous, active, and mutable.
Really can't recommend this book enough. It is so great. And of course it doesn't just cover colors. As the title suggests, it pretty much covers anything that could be a symbol. So I'll leave a link to it in the description. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so if you do purchase the book through that link, it also helps me out a bit. So this quote could be a little too philosophical for you, but it just shows the range that colors can have, and this can inspire you to associate certain colors to certain parts of your story just because of qualities or common traits that are attached to those colors.
Now, a common image associated with orange is the rise and descent of the sun. I'm mentioning these things just to get you thinking of imagery that can help you give a certain meaning to the colors of your story.
So some common things that are associated with orange are
warmth, detention, warning, protection, growth, and like I mentioned before, life and death.
So again, we can see how the same color can portray both negative and positive associations.
So it could be the orange of a warm glow of sunlight coming in through a window, or it could be fiery tones of a wildfire or a nuclear blast. So we mentioned how yellow can be associated with gold and the everlasting. And remember how I said that our cultural background affects the way that we interpret color? Well, traditional Chinese culture links yellow to the most valuable things in life.
In fact, during the Qing dynasty, the emperor was the only one allowed to wear yellow clothing. So maybe you don't have to pitch your movie to a Chinese audience and this might not matter to you, but again, just take notice how the meaning of color can shift just based on geography alone. So the Western culture can see, like we mentioned, yellow as gold or as the divine, and interestingly enough, Islamic culture actually has two different meanings depending on how saturated the color yellow is. So if you have a very vibrant yellow, that could mean wisdom, but if it's more of a pale yellow or a desaturated tone of yellow, that could mean betrayal. So I could go on, but one thing in common that all humans have with yellow is that it is the most visible to us. So we can see yellow from a greater distance than any other color. So this is probably why most road signs are yellow. But here are some other common things associated with this color.
Aging, value, warning, power, enlightenment, and success.
Also, for some reason, babies tend to cry when they see yellow. So you know how red increases blood pressure and is just pretty much just a wake-up call for your body? Well, green does the exact opposite. It actually relaxes you, it dilates your capillaries. It's a weird word to say. So green has this sort of calming quality to it and is typically obviously associated with nature since it's so prevalent in nature. But on the flip side, it can also represent something man-made such as wealth and money. So again, we can see how there's opposite meanings to the same color.
It can be used to show a peaceful, luscious green field, or it can be the sickly tint of the fluorescent tubes illuminating a mundane office space.
So a few other things that are tied to green are
growth, awakening, sickness, decay, good luck, jealousy, and envy.
So on to my favorite color, blue. Unlike green, blue can be rarely found in nature other than the sky and bodies of water. And it does have some calming qualities, so it's very similar to green in that sense. And we even release calming chemicals when we do see blue, so that could explain why we see blue in a lot of hospital rooms.
So it's no surprise that tranquility, harmony, faith, and loyalty are some of the things associated with blue. And other meanings can include spirituality, fulfillment, stability, technology, sadness, and cleanliness.
Purple for a very long time has been associated with the high class and royalty. In fact, a color that Romans used to like back in the day is a shade of purple called Tyrian purple. And of course, this color was exclusively worn by the rich.
So purple can show wealth and royalty, nobility, power, wisdom, but also arrogance or eroticness. Brown is another one of those colors that are commonly found in nature. You know, dirt, the ground, bark on the trees, mud, poop, and the decomposition are common things that can come to mind with brown. You can use browns as earthly tones in your color scheme to show maybe simplicity or home, earth, comfort, even dirtiness, or just the outdoors.
So although it's not technically a color since it is the absence of all color, we should still talk about black.
This fact about black can be used to represent the deep abyss of the human subconscious, as was done by Storaro in Apocalypse Now. Black can represent the unknown, from the immensity of space to an unsettling, unlit room behind a door. Black, again, can be used to show power. It can be used to show sophistication and elegance, but also mystery and fear and remorse.
So moving from the absence of color, let's put all of the colors together and let's talk about white.
Visually, you can use white in many ways. Going back into the example of the consciousness, we can use white to give a sense of clarity and reflection. This idea can be noticed in The Matrix when Neo finds himself surrounded by white, which could note his consciousness awakening.
So white can evoke this feeling of endlessness in that kind of way. And other meanings associated with white are
purity, innocence and youth, winter, birth, and sterility.
So again, I could ramble on about color forever. There's so much more to talk about, and it really is a world on its own. And if this video didn't satisfy your color appetite, check out last week's video. We talked about colors some more and just color schemes and all that fun stuff. And also check out my lighting series. I started that and it talks about color in terms of lighting. And again, I really recommend the Book of Symbols. Not sponsored by them or in any way, but it's just a book that I use all the time for inspiration and just to add layers of detail to characters and to stories.
Again, big thanks to Skillshare for making this video possible, and if you guys want to learn more about color, that is the perfect place to do it. You can use the link in the description to get 2 months completely free, and you can dive into color a bit more.
So hopefully you find all this stuff helpful. I'm really working hard to get these videos out there consistently every week. So if you do enjoy this type of stuff, leave a like. And if this is your first time on this channel, consider subscribing because there'll be more filmmaking videos coming your way. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris Trini for Crisco Productions, and I'll see you next time.
Paint me blue. I'm an ocean blue, like the color of the mermaid. Her hair was jade, I saw her rosy braid. I was just a shade. Paint me peach. I'm in pumpkin peach, like frosting buttercream, which vegans won't eat. Just get a mandarin, painted tangerine. Paint me green. Cactus green, like the color of my yucca, which will always be familiar while watching Willy Wonka. Now that jug is my future.